Roman Abramovich's rise is one of the most mysterious wealth stories of the modern era. Unlike tech founders or celebrity billionaires, his journey began quietly, far from global spotlights. Born in the Soviet Union, orphaned at a young age, Abramovich learned early how to survive in systems defined by scarcity and control. That early environment shaped a man who would later master silence, discretion, and strategic alliances. During the chaotic collapse of the Soviet Union, Abramovich entered the emerging world of Russian privatization. Industries once owned by the state were suddenly available to those with the right connections, timing, and risk tolerance. Abramovich navigated this landscape with remarkable precision, acquiring stakes in oil, aluminum, and energy at a scale few could imagine. Like other oligarchs who flaunted wealth, Abramovich remained largely invisible. He avoided interviews, avoided headlines, and rarely explained his success. That secrecy became his greatest asset. While others competed for attention, he consolidated power quietly. His fortune expanded rapidly, placing him among Russia's wealthiest individuals within a short span of time. But what truly set Abramovich apart was not just money, it was access. Access to decision-makers, strategic assets, and global influence. This reveals the foundation of a life built not on publicity, but on control. Roman Abramovich didn't chase fame. He built power in the shadows. In a world where billionaires often seek recognition, Roman Abramovich chose the opposite path. He became known not for public speeches or media appearances, but for his absence. This deliberate invisibility allowed him to move freely across borders, industries, and political environments. Abramovich rarely gave interviews. He avoided personal branding. Even at the height of his wealth, few photographs or personal statements existed. This silence created an aura of mystery and protection. In elite circles, being unknown is often safer than being famous. While other oligarchs built public empires, Abramovich invested in privacy. Residences were secured, movements carefully planned, and personal details closely guarded. He became known as a man who preferred influence behind closed doors rather than applause in public halls. This approach extended to his business dealings. Negotiations happened quietly. Deals closed without headlines. Influence expanded without announcement. In many cases, his presence was only confirmed after decisions had already been made. This explores how Abramovich mastered the art of low-visibility power, proving that in the highest tiers of wealth, silence can be stronger than noise. Roman Abramovich's wealth was never limited to one country or industry. His portfolio extended across oil, metals, real estate, aviation, and global investments. Each asset was selected not just for profit, but for strategic value. One of the most visible chapters of his life came with his ownership of Chelsea Football Club. While football brought him international recognition, it also served as a bridge into Western elite society. Through sport, Abramovich accessed political, cultural, and financial circles far beyond Russia. Beyond football, his real estate holdings included luxury properties across Europe and private estates designed for maximum privacy. Aircraft and yachts allowed him to move discreetly between continents, maintaining global presence without permanent exposure. Unlike flashy investors, Abramovich viewed assets as tools, not trophies. Each purchase served a function: influence, access, protection, or leverage. Wealth was structured, layered, and global. This reveals how his empire extended quietly across borders, making him not just a Russian billionaire, but a global power figure. Roman Abramovich's lifestyle reached a level where luxury and security became inseparable. His superyachts were not designed to impress the public, they were engineered to disappear. Among the largest privately owned yachts in the world, these vessels functioned as floating fortresses, equipped with missile detection systems, armored sections, and multiple escape routes. Privacy, not glamour, was the priority. On board, access was strictly controlled. Guests were vetted. Staff signed lifetime non-disclosure agreements. Entire decks were reserved for private use, and certain areas remained inaccessible even to crew. When the yacht moved, its destination was often known only to a small inner circle. Satellite tracking could be limited, and routes changed frequently to avoid attention. His private jets followed the same philosophy. Abramovich rarely used public terminals, instead relying on secured hangars and discreet airfields. Flight plans were flexible, allowing him to cross continents without public notice. Travel became invisible, a necessity for someone operating at the intersection of wealth and geopolitics. Unlike celebrities who showcase luxury, Abramovich treated luxury as armor. Yachts, jets, and estates were tools of protection, allowing him to exist beyond scrutiny. This level of privacy represents the highest tier of wealth, where exposure becomes a risk rather than a reward. For Abramovich, the ultimate luxury was not what he owned, it was how little the world could see. Roman Abramovich's fortune was never built in isolation from politics. His success depended on understanding power, timing, and loyalty, and knowing when to step back. In Russia's volatile elite landscape, survival often mattered more than dominance. Abramovich developed a reputation as a negotiator rather than a provocateur. Instead of confronting authority, he positioned himself as adaptable, useful, and non-threatening. This allowed him to maintain influence while avoiding the fate of other oligarchs who lost favor or assets. His political involvement extended quietly into diplomacy, mediation, and behind-the-scenes negotiations. At critical moments, Abramovich was reported to act as an intermediary not because he sought power, but because he understood discretion. Influence exercised silently often lasts longer than influence declared publicly. As global tensions increased, Abramovich's strategic instincts were tested. Sanctions, asset seizures, and political pressure reshaped the environment around him. Yet even then, his responses remained calculated. Assets were restructured. Ownership was transferred. Exposure was reduced. This reveals Abramovich's most valuable skill: strategic survival. Wealth can be built quickly. Maintaining it through decades of political change requires intelligence, restraint, and timing. In a system where power shifts overnight, Abramovich survived by never standing still. Roman Abramovich's legacy is defined as much by what is unknown as by what is documented. Unlike modern billionaires who cultivate public personas, he leaves behind questions rather than answers. Few personal statements. Few recorded interviews. Almost no emotional footprint. His life illustrates the hidden cost of extreme power. Absolute privacy demands distance. Trust becomes rare. Relationships are carefully filtered. Freedom exists, but it is heavily guarded. The very systems that protect wealth can isolate those who control them. As the global world shifts toward transparency and accountability, figures like Abramovich represent a fading era, one where fortunes could operate beyond public reach. That era is closing, but its influence remains. Did Abramovich win the ultimate game? He accumulated wealth, influence, and mobility beyond imagination. Yet he paid with anonymity, constant vigilance, and permanent separation from ordinary life. This leaves viewers with a final reflection. True power does not seek admiration. It seeks survival. Roman Abramovich may never explain his choices, and perhaps that silence is his final strategy.